Okay guys, let's do our Christmas swap present. I'm starting out with just a frame that I have done some painting on with just a thick bristle brush and some mineral chalk paint from Waverly, and to make it look old I've used this brown from just the apple barrel craft paint. You can get those at Walmart. You start out with a chalk paint, do a layer, and then with the brown you stipple like that and then rub it in, dry brush it very much. I did 4 layers on this thing, so that's why it took a while. Then I cut out a hem for the backing, glued it to the backing and put the back in. As you can see, that's a thrift shop frame, y'all. Nothing special here. So now we've got the back in. I distressed the hem with a little bit of brown paint, twisted some jute to make the core of a Christmas tree, to make the trunk of a Christmas tree. Twist that jute and then I glued it down to the hem. Now that brown paint has dried. I did this in stages. Sorry, Clara, that's why it took so long to get to you. We're going to put the back of the tree down, and then we're going to cut out pieces of hems, ribbon, and hem titles, and some pop cleaner just to kind of add some decor. So I'm going to start with a bow to put on top of the tree, and then we're going to start layering some of the prettier stuff. So I've got the bow on. We're going to start layering some of the stuff that I've cut out of the hymnal now. And the hymnal stuff, I'm going to glue it down, but I'm going to pop it up so it looks like it is 3D from the rest of the backing. And it stands out because it is crisp, and I did distress the hymnal sheet behind it with the brown paint. So it stands out pretty good. So we just now layer this with sizes that start biggest on bottom and then get a little smaller as we go up. I'm going through pieces of hymnal, pieces of ribbon, pieces of music, and I go back here in a moment to add the really good structure of the tree with green pop cleaner. But as you can see, just using craft ribbon and pieces of the hymnal. You can do this with pieces of Christmas card, pieces of fabric, pieces of ribbon, anything that you can find that you think goes with your Christmas colors that you want to put in this project. So now I'm putting the I think I did like the Lord is come, the first Noel, and I tried to do the longer titles at the bottom. So there are the titles and the hymnals and the ribbon. Now I'm just going to add the pop cleaner to add the structure of the tree and to add some green for the tree. Really easy little craft, just doing a little couple drops of glue to make sure it sticks. We want it to have a little bit of elevation from the back, so it's not going to be put on perfect. Sometimes I even make them a little crooked because I think being a little crooked is cute. This can be done with a few pieces of ribbon in a tiny frame, or I think this is a 5x7 frame that I have here. I actually made one in a tiny frame as well. You can go as big or small as you want to go, and you do not need to put the glass back in. So when you ship these will be very light because you don't need to use the glass. So get rid of that glass, use it for something else, or very carefully dispose of it because it is not necessary. Now I'm going to finish up using my pop cleaners. Literally the longest thing I did here was paint the frame because I wanted a rustic look. Everything else, after I got the several layers of paint and got it to look very old and haggard, everything else went very quickly. So it was just the multiple layers of paint that took me so long. So here I'm going to decorate the frame just a little bit. I don't want to put too much on it, but I want to add just a little bit. So I got one of my bottle brush trees, and I'm going to glue it to the bottom of the frame. And I put a lot of glue there because I don't want this little sucker to move. I'm going to put a little piece of red ribbon underneath him just to give the illusion of presents under the tree. And I'm not really going to do a whole much else there. I am going to make a bow out of jute twine. And I'm going to make a bow and put a few loops around on each side. And then I'm going to snip it in the middle. I'm going to wrap it in the middle with just a tiny piece of pop cleaner, just so it has some color and it has some structure. I'm just going to wrap that around. I'm going to make sure that both points of the pop cleaner point back, and then I'm going to glue that to the corner of my frame. Easy peasy. I'm going to make sure the strings hang where I want them to hang. And I'm going to do some cleanup. I'm going to look at some other stuff, but I decided not to put any more ribbon or gold or red on there. I thought it was just too much. I kind of like the simplicity, especially with all the painting.